police release photos of a mass shooter.
This is an all-hands-on-deck situation.
As a manhunt gets underway to find him, a decision has been made.
And I will not let you down.
As the House floor can return to business. And a field trip for dogs in South Florida.
But I would definitely go to a shelter and adopt a dog for a day.
How shelter animals are feeling loved and cared for. These stories and more coming up on Newsbreak.
Hello, South Florida. I'm Parsa K. Sajadi.
I'm Leon Abutarbush. Today is Thursday, October 25, 2023.
Live from the Lee Caplin School of Journalism and Media in North Miami, this is Caplin News.
Right now, an intense manhunt is underway for the suspect in 2 mass shootings. At least 16 victims are dead this morning. Dozens more are injured in the city of Lewiston, which is near Portland, Maine.
It was more than 14 hours ago. As CNN's Gloria Passamino tells us, authorities have not yet made an arrest.
2 mass shootings rocking Lewistown, Maine Wednesday night.
We got multiple victims. I need every unit you can find.
One at a restaurant, the other at a bowling alley, where video captured people running for safety.
Probably the hardest part, seeing just families pouring out of there, and knowing that happened in there while they were just probably trying to have a family night.
State police asked residents there and in the nearby cities of Auburn and Lisbon to stay indoors as they investigated throughout the night. Several schools in the area canceling classes Thursday.
I've been stomping these grounds since I was 19 years old, and I'm just overwhelmed.
Soon after the shootings, the Androscoggin County Sheriff's Office released these images of a suspect seen here holding a high-powered assault-style rifle. Police identified 40-year-old Robert Card as a person of interest in the shooting.
Card is considered armed and dangerous. If people see him, they should not approach Card or make contact with him in any way.
Auburn Mayor Jason Levesque says the community is in shock.
Well, there's fear, there's panic, of course, there's worry, understandable. I mean, this is an all-hands-on-deck situation. So, yeah, you can train for this, but you can never be completely prepared.
In Lewistown, Maine, I'm Gloria Passamino.
Today is the first full day on the job for newly minted House Speaker Mike Johnson. After 3 weeks of gridlock and 3 failed picks, the House of Representatives yesterday confirmed Louisiana Republican Mike Johnson to be its new leader. An ally of former President Donald Trump, Speaker Johnson was a key congressional figure in failed efforts to overturn the results of the 2020 presidential election.
The challenge before us is great, but the time for action is now, and I will not let you down.
Earlier this month, Congressman Matt Gaetz from Florida led the effort to oust Speaker Kevin McCarthy after he worked with Democrats on a debt ceiling deal.
Caplin's Hawa Izel isn't the only one far from home. As the reports from our DC bureau, there are students just like her who left their Florida in search of finding where they belong.
The illustrious Howard University attracts students from far and wide, and for the past 3.5 years, it helped one girl from the South find her voice. Alyssa Mark, a senior at Howard University in Washington, D.C., graduated from high school in Orlando, Florida. She attended 3 high schools, all of which she was a part of the minority, a stark comparison to her middle school experience.
I came on a side of town where it was very diverse, a lot of cultural diversity. I never really had to worry about fitting in. I felt relatively accepted for who I was.
This didn't last long once high school rolled around.
And so when I brought that energy over to another side of town, which is definitely more white populated, this black girl just being themselves, exuberant energy and outgoing and dressing the way they want to dress. There was not very much warmth and acceptance. It was hard to find my place there.
Upon submitting her college applications, she realized it was time for a change of environment.
It wasn't a place crafted for me, If you would have told me up until my senior year of high school that I was going to be at an HBCU, I wouldn't have believed you.
After the death of George Floyd, something shifted within Alyssa.
I was yeah, no, I need to be with my people.
Even upon leaving the South, as a queer person of color, the passing of the controversially dubbed Don't Say Gay bill last year rattled her, as she recalled the violent reactions she faced in Florida after same-sex marriage was legalized.
I remember just watching the news and seeing like Nazis patrolling the streets 20 minutes away from my home.
Luckily, Alyssa has found peace of mind in her time on the East Coast.
Howard has showed me that like it's okay to not fit in. Black people are not a monolith. There's just so much uniqueness on this campus.
Every student deserves a safe place to blossom, and that's exactly what Alyssa found. Reporting from Washington, D.C., I'm Hawa Ezel.
One of DC's most unique events that celebrates the diversity and unification of their community. Their annual high-heeled race occurred on Tuesday night. Reporter Paloma Pimentel from our DC bureau was at the event.
On its 36th year, the famous 17th Street high heel race takes place each October right before Halloween, where thousands of people, some displaying their elaborate costumes, gather to watch the race and enjoy the inclusive atmosphere that the race brings. Various health organizations set up their stands to incentivize and promote safety standards and testing for sexual and drug activity. Drag queens and kings from all walks of life signed up to compete, costume-clad and with their heels.
I am here in DC on this Tuesday night where dozens of drag queens have gathered to race in heels. We spoke to one drag racer to know more about the culture and how this event represents the LGBTQ community.
I try to do something that's like politically relevant. So I was Colin Kaepernick one year, and then the next year I kind of changed it up and I did like Bert and Ernie, something crazy and fun. I'm doing Michael Myers, and sequence boots. How scary is that? So, it started 30 years ago with guys that's kind of like bar hopping, and they would go from bar to bar, do shots, and it became a race, and then with heels on, and then it just turned into this magnificent thing. It is supporting the LGBTQIA plus community, but it's not always, it's not just for that community. It brings everybody together, as you see.
In a gesture of support for diversity and the LGBTQ plus community, Mayor Muriel Bowser established the annual race as an official mayoral event, ensuring its presence for years to come. While Miami celebrates its diverse LGBTQ plus community through pride parades, DC incorporates its 17th Street high heel race to continue the nationwide tradition. I am Paloma Pimentel in DC reporting for Caplin News.
While most Americans think climate change will get worse, it instead can help with the changes to their lives. According to a research poll with more than 88 adults, only half will make minimal changes to their lifestyles, while on the contrary, only a quarter of them will think of making a change. To previous surveys on the topic have prioritized climate change, including potential solutions.
A back-and-forth game between the Heat and the Pistons gets settled by a single point.
That's still ahead, and so is this story.
But I would definitely go to a shelter and adopt a dog for a day.
Taking man's best friend on a field trip, Newsbreak will be back in 2 minutes.
How prepared is your family if a tornado shows up at your doorstep, or a flood, or a hurricane? You can't just turn away a natural disaster. That's why it's important to go to ready.gov/plan now. It has the tools and tips you need to make an emergency plan with your family. So if disaster comes knocking,
let's go.
You'll be ready to help keep your family safe.
It's just a pizza.
Yes. Make a plan today.
Jordan knows he shouldn't eat this entire bowl of nachos, but tonight he's earned that right because a few hours ago in the middle of happy hour, he recognized a sign, not from the gods or a bolt of lightning, but from a double heart, a kissy face, and a fourth ha in ha ha ha. That's when Jordan knew he was buzzed. So when it was time to go, he got a ride home instead of driving. Be a legend like Jordan. Recognize your buzzed warning signs and get a ride home. Buzz driving is drunk driving.
I help our fellows design their paths as creative entrepreneurs. My experiences serving startups, creative businesses, and cultural organizations, and my journey as a queer mixed immigrant with Haitian and Arabic roots, inform the co-creative environment we foster at Radcliffe. We leverage our collective diversity to encourage the building of lifelong personal learning networks and mindsets that stimulate continuous innovation.
Life can be rough for shelter pets, but there is a way for you to take one on an adventure.
The program in Miami-Dade County is called Paw Venture.
And as Caplin Samantha Gutierrez reports, with the help of social media, the program may even help the pets get adopted.
I'm here in Doral getting an inside look into a Miami activity gone TikTok viral. It's called a Paw Venture, a program 2 years in the making that's becoming a popular Miami activity, allowing residents or visitors to take a pet for a day trip outside the shelter. Good girl, puppy. Emily Butler already has a pup in her Pinecrest home, but she decided she wanted to take a shelter pet out for a day trip.
So I wanted an older dog and one that had been here a little bit longer.
She's pet ventured with Puppy 3 times now, a 7-year-old girl who has been in the shelter since the start of Pet Venture program in 2022. They've gone out to parks, restaurants, and recently just had a yard and bath day. With the pups comes a supply bag.
There's treats in there, water dish, toy, just stuff for the dog.
And a folder of canine-friendly activities in Miami.
I think we're going to take her to a park and then maybe go out to lunch on one of the restaurants that they have listed that are dog-friendly.
Not only is this program a great way to get dogs like Puppy out and about, it's also positively impacting the businesses here in downtown Doral. Wolfgang, a dog shop here, sees dogs on the daily and even works with the shelter hosting donations. Wolfgang employee and pet lover Julie Arellano is all for this pet-friendly initiative.
But I would definitely go to a shelter and adopt a dog for a day, give it like a nice, fun day out, and then take it right back and hopefully someone will adopt them by then.
To keep up with this Miami-Dade initiative, check out Adopt Miami Pets on Instagram. Reporting from Doral for Caplin News, I'm Samantha Gutierrez.
The Heat started out the new season in the win column, but Game 1 didn't go quite as smoothly as fans had hoped. Despite being up double digits, the Detroit Pistons surged back and were one missed shot away from winning. Miami pulling off the 1-point win. The final score, Heat 103, Detroit 102. You're watching Newsbreak, and we're coming right back.
Severe weather can strike anytime, anywhere, but there's a simple way to stay safe. Hey, Jim Cantore here. I stay safe in dangerous weather by planning ahead. You can stay safe too with a few easy steps. Build an inexpensive kit with supplies for your family's needs. Write down important information like phone numbers and medications. Always talk with your family, and remember any pets in your planning. Be ready, be safe. Start your plan today at ready.gov/plan.
I don't know why you're so sad. You've got a roof over your head.
You gotta stop with that depressing stuff. That's what white people think. You all right?
It just feels like it's coming from everywhere.
Do you want to talk about it?
You can talk to me if you're feeling sad.
Whenever you need to talk, I'm here, okay?
If you're buzzed and doing this, to make yourself feel okay to drive,
ZWX.
You're not okay to drive.
YGKLVW. Regular you.
that's all the time we have for Newsbreak. I'm Liana Batarbouche.
And I'm Parsa K. Sajari. Get more news anytime at caplinnews.fiu.edu.